Dear students, once again welcome to the engineering chemistry course. Today we are going to learn about the experiment number 6. The aim of today's experiment is to determine the strength of a given unknown solution of copper sulfate iodometrically using potassium iodide as a source of iodine and hypo as an intermediate solution. This is the type of iodometric titration, and in theory we have already learned that iodometric titrations are the type of redox titration. So basically what we are going to do today, we are performing the iodometric titration today, and through the iodometric titration we are going to determine the strength of unknown copper sulfate solution. But before starting the experiment, we must know what reagents and glasswares are required to perform this titration. So let us begin with the reagents required in this titration. Potassium iodide solution. Potassium iodide is the colorless solution. Sodium thiosulfate solution, which is also known as the hypo solution, it is also the colorless solution. The standard copper sulfate solution. Copper sulfate solution is the blue colored solution. The unknown copper sulfate solution. To provide the acidic medium, we are using here the H2SO4 solution, and as an indicator we are using the starch. Starch is the type of adsorption indicator. So these are the chemicals or reagents required to perform this titration. Now, what apparatuses or glasswares are required in this titration? Burette stand, burette, conical flask, reagent bottle, dropper, and the pipette. So, before starting the performance, now let us discuss the theory or the basic principle involved in this titration. The copper sulfate reacts with potassium iodide in acidic medium and liberates equivalent amount of iodine. Due to the liberation of iodine, the solution becomes brown. So you must remember, whenever in the copper sulfate solution, potassium iodide is added and there is the acidic medium. So with the reaction of potassium iodide, always the copper sulfate liberates the equivalent amount of iodine and white precipitate of cuprous iodide is formed. But we know the iodine is of the brown color. So due to the liberation of iodine, the solution becomes brown. And this liberated iodine is titrated against the standard hypo solution using starch as an indicator. So when we titrate this liberated iodine with the hypo solution, the iodine reacts with the hypo solution and colorless solution of sodium iodide and sodium tetrathionate is formed. So as the iodine get consumed with the hypo solution, the intensity of the brown color decreases. Why it decreases? Because brown color is due to the liberation of iodine, and as the iodine reacts with the hypo, its concentration in the solution get decreases. So the intensity of the brown color decreases. When the solution becomes pale yellow, that means concentration of iodine in the solution decreases. Now at that point we are adding the starch indicator in the solution. Iodine gives deep blue or violet color with the starch indicator because the starch indicator forms the iodo-starch complex with the iodine, and the color of this complex is the deep blue color. So when we add starch in this solution, the solution becomes deep blue due to the formation of iodo-starch complex. So basically, when hypo is added to the solution in which iodine is get liberated with the reaction of copper sulfate and potassium iodide. So this iodine reacts with hypo and forms sodium tetrathionate. Thus, as already I told you, intensity of the blue color decreases because iodine get continuously consumed and iodo-starch complex breaks. When complete iodine react with the hypo solution, the solution becomes colorless because there is no more iodo-starch complex in this solution. At this time, white precipitate of cuprous iodide is now visible. We know that cuprous iodide is formed initially in the solution, but initially there was also the iodine present in the solution, and due to the higher color intensity of iodine, the solution is brown in color. But at the end point, when all the iodine get consumed with the hypo, we can easily visualize the white precipitate of potassium iodide. This shows the end point. So end point is the disappearance of the blue color and appearance of the white precipitate in the conical flask. Now moving towards the procedure. This titration is carried out in two parts. In the first part, titration between standard copper sulfate solution and the hypo solution is carried out, and in the second part, titration between unknown copper sulfate and the hypo solution is carried out. So first part, that is the titration between standard copper sulfate solution and hypo solution. So we must know what is the meaning of standard word here. We know the standard solution means the solution which exact normality we are knowing. So in today's titration, the strength or the normality of copper sulfate we are using is N by 40. That means we are using 0.025 N normality of standard copper sulfate solution. So always remember, standard solution is the known concentration solution. Okay, so here we are using N by 40 or 0.025 N normality copper sulfate solution as a standard copper sulfate solution. So step 1, take a burette. Step 2, fill the burette with hypo solution. So here we are filling the burette with the hypo solution. Always remember, first rinse the burette with the hypo solution and then fill it up to the mark with the hypo solution. Step 3. Take 10 ml standard copper sulfate solution in the conical flask. Now take the conical flask and with the help of pipette, take 10 ml copper sulfate in that conical flask. This is the third step. Now fourth step, add 5 ml potassium iodide solution and 5 ml H2SO4 solution in the conical flask. So we are already taking the 10 ml of copper sulfate solution in the conical flask. Now in this 10 ml of copper sulfate solution, add 5 ml of potassium iodide and 5 ml of H2SO4 solution in this copper sulfate solution. Now step 5, start the titration. We already filled the burette with the hypo solution, and in the conical flask we are already mixed the copper sulfate with the potassium iodide and the H2SO4 solution. So now we are well known that copper sulfate when reacts with the potassium iodide in acidic medium, it liberates equivalent amount of iodine, and due to the liberation of this iodine, the color of the solution becomes brown. So titration is started at this point. Take the initial burette reading. It is always the 0 ml. Now open the knob to start the hypo solution running into the conical flask and titration gets started. Step 6. When solution becomes pale yellow, add 2-3 drops of starch indicator. Now, due to the consumption of iodine with hypo solution, the color intensity of the brown color decreases. Now at this point, when solution becomes pale yellow, add the 2-3 drops of starch indicator with the help of dropper into the conical flask. Step 7. Before the step 7, we must know what happened when we added the starch indicator in the solution. The solution turns to blue. Why it turns to blue? Because as we added the starch indicator in this pale yellow solution, the starch indicator forms iodo-starch complex with the iodine in the conical flask, and color of this iodo-starch complex is deep blue. That is why after adding the starch, the solution turns to blue color. Now step 7. Continue the titration till blue color becomes colorless and white precipitate of cuprous iodide is now visible. Take the final reading. Now here you can easily see blue color get disappeared and white precipitate is now visible. This is the endpoint of the titration. Suppose this time your burette reading is 10.1. Suppose that is your final reading. So record or note down this reading. Now part second, that is the titration between unknown copper sulfate solution with the hypo solution. Repeat the same procedure with the unknown copper sulfate solution and take the final burette reading. Now this unknown solution, copper sulfate solution, is that solution whose concentration we have to determine. That is the aim of our experiment. So same procedure is repeated with unknown copper sulfate solution. So quickly revise what are the main steps. Step 1. Fill the burette with the hypo solution. Step 2. Take 10 ml of copper sulfate in the conical flask. Step 3. Add 5 ml potassium iodide and H2SO4 in the conical flask. Step 4. Start the titration. When the solution becomes pale yellow, step 5 begins, that is the addition of the starch indicator in the conical flask. Due to the liberation, due to the formation of iodo-starch complex, the color of the conical flask content comes to blue. This is the step 5, and last step is the 6th step, that is when we continue the titration, all the iodine get consumed and white precipitate is seen in the conical flask. This is the endpoint of our titration. So assume that this time the final burette reading is 9.8 ml. So first burette reading we have taken with the standard copper sulfate solution, that was suppose 10.1 ml, and second titration we have performed with the unknown copper sulfate solution. Suppose this time burette reading comes to 9.8 ml. So then we are forming the observation tables. Observation table first is for the titration of a standard copper sulfate solution and hypo solution. As we have seen that this time final burette reading is the 10.1 ml. So you can put here this value 10.1 ml. Now, second observation table is formed for the part second, that is titration of unknown copper sulfate solution with the hypo solution. This time, as we have seen, reading final burette reading is 9.8 ml. So write down here the final burette reading with the unknown copper sulfate solution. So this is the final burette reading. Calculations. Part 1 calculation, that is the titration between hypo solution and the copper sulfate, standard copper sulfate solution. N1 is the normality of hypo solution, which we have to determine in the first step. V1 is the volume of hypo solution used with the standard copper sulfate solution. N2 is the normality of standard copper sulfate solution, which we have used is 0.025 N. V2 is the volume of copper sulfate taken in the conical flask, that is 10 ml. So here N1 is the N2V2 divided by V1. So putting the values of all the remaining terms here, N2 is 0.025 multiplied by 10. What is 10 here? 10 is V2, that is volume of standard copper sulfate solution. So 0.025 multiplied by 10 divided by V1. This comes out to be the normality of the hypo solution. This was the first step. Now, second step is the titration of unknown copper sulfate solution with hypo solution. In this step, we have titrated the hypo solution with the unknown copper sulfate solution. So N3 is the normality of hypo solution. This N3 must be equal to the N1 because we are using the same hypo solution. So N1 is equal to N3. V3 is the volume of hypo solution used with the unknown copper sulfate solution. So this is the final burette reading with the unknown copper sulfate solution. N4 is the normality of unknown copper sulfate solution, which we have to determine, which was aim of our experiment. And V4 is the volume of copper sulfate solution, that is the 10 ml. So finally the N4 is equal to N3 V3 by V4, and we know that N3 is equal to N1. So by simply putting the value of N1 in this formula, we are getting the final value of N4, that is 0.025 into 10 divided by V1. This value comes from here, N1. Okay, multiplied by V3 by V4. So this is the final normality of the unknown copper sulfate solution. Now, by this normality, we can determine the strength of unknown copper sulfate solution. How? We know that the strength of copper sulfate solution is equal to normality multiplied by equivalent weight of copper sulfate. And the equivalent weight of copper sulfate is 249. And what is the normality? Normality is N4, which we have determined in our previous step. So simply putting the value of N4 here, multiplied it by the equivalent weight of copper sulfate, that is 249. So this is how we calculate the final result, and putting the result in the result statement, that is strength of a given unknown copper sulfate solution is whatever your strength comes out to be here, grams per liter. Now, what precautions should be taken during this titration? The start solution should be added just near the end point, that is when solution becomes pale yellow. Dirty brown white precipitates of cuprous iodide may be formed due to adsorption of iodine by it. This can be avoided by adding 5 ml of 10% solution of potassium thiocyanate. Appearance of blue color just after the completion of titration is due to insufficient amount of potassium iodide. So add potassium iodide in the sufficient amount to avoid this problem. Always use freshly prepared starch indicator solution. So these are the precautions should be taken during the course of this titration. So that's all for today's experiment. Thank you.